morning, everybody. It is actually not morning, it's afternoon. Good morning. Oh my God. Good afternoon. This is John here at De-crypt Markets. Welcome
Good
to
morning, everybody.
It is actually
session,
not
and
morning.
why don't we go ahead and go and dive
Good
on
afternoon.
in.
This is John.
If you
here at De-crypt
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
It was discussing
session, not
and
morning.
why don't we go ahead and go
being
and dive
Good
on
afternoon.
a kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
It was discussing
session, not
and
morning.
why don't we go ahead and go
being
pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
It was discussing and why don't we
Good
go ahead and go
being
pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
It was discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John.
you
here at
remember
Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John. here at Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John. here at Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John. here at Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John. here at Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John. here at Markets.
yesterday,
Good morning, everybody.
we were discussing and why don't we go ahead and go pullbacks.
Good afternoon.
Kind of
This is
if
John. here at Markets.
yesterday.
Okay, I know why the audio is funky. Is it better now? I think I forgot to mute the desktop while I was talking. Let me know if it's better. I'll keep talking though. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so anyways, parabolic rise. I have to remember to do that. Parabolic rise. We have a set trend going, and then we notice that it expands, which isn't a big deal if we get one or two. But what we observe is, if you notice, we see the slope continuing to rise and increase. And then eventually it just gets too heavy. When we start to see the slope rise very quickly, and then we see the volume topping out up here, the volume gets heavier. I was talking about this during our the Forex markets this morning with the Forex Lens folks. We were talking about a downwards move in the market, but whenever you see a market that has been trending higher in a short period of time, or even on a long period of time, if you see rising volume and there's some type of rounding top or double top or triple top or tweezer top, that's a pretty good sign you're about to have a reversal. And that is either going to be a pullback or a throwback. Now, if you've not heard of what there is a difference between a throwback and a pullback. A throwback happens during an uptrend and a pullback happens during a downtrend. But I think for the most part, people are pretty good about just saying a pullback. I know some people will say like there's a back and fill. Those are some other names for it, but otherwise pullback is just fine. And if we really want to look at the price action here and this activity, you know, it was smart yesterday to peel off some profit or put it into a not an overly underperforming altcoin, but something that probably could have capitalized on the move here with Bitcoin going down. You know, we can anticipate the distance of where this will go based on a couple of factors. So we could take it from swing to swing. And like with the Fibonacci, do retracement. And we could anticipate the pullback going down to the 50% level. That is very possible. You know, really though, really want to pay attention to this right here. On the 30th, we have a square of price and time. So we have a specialized time pivot that when it coincides with the same harmonic and price, then we will get a responsive price action happening here, which makes sense because we've got this confluent zone of angles. We've got this confluent zone of time and price being squared in here. So we should expect to see some supportive action as we move. It is also entirely possible that we would not even break out of this structure here, that the arc itself and this 45-degree angle would hold. Really, this diagonal line here is the 45-degree angle in the square 52. And so the fact that price has crossed above it is very, very bullish. That's really because when we're down below this angle, we're technically in neutral territory right now. But when we're below the downtrending 45, we are in a bear market. And then if we can adjust and trade higher to get up to the upwards trending 45, then we are in a bullish market. But otherwise, we're in a neutral phase right now, which is good because all we've done has been in a downtrending market. So the activity here, if we look at this on the daily, we can see that we are forming a tweezer top. We are very extended here in the composite index, and we are very extended in the stochastic RSI. So a pullback down to 7,500 is actually a pretty good probability. You know, if this is really close to that 618 or the 382 Fibonacci level. This is a pretty standard area to find some first level of support. And if you're an Elliotician, you would probably even say that this is a 5-wave, an impulse wave up, and then we need that first corrective wave down. But otherwise, you know, looking at this past price behavior, when we discussed on Monday and yesterday that foldback pattern, that's what we are still looking to have play out here. And again, the foldback pattern is really nothing more than the repeated swings of the past, not the exact price levels, but where are they at? Where did I put it? Not where did I put it? Here we go. Flipped. So that's all we're really looking for to see play out, is not the exact price and pattern retracement, but we're looking for at least a very similar swing situation. So we found a swing low. There was a swing high here. Now we're looking for a swing low to happen. Okay, so that is really what we are looking for, and we can kind of get a percentage of the move by measuring the move in the past. So if we were to do that from this swing to this swing, we see it's like a 750. Oh, that's not right. There we go. It's about 1,000 point swing. And then from this low to high, it's about 700. Then this high to low, it's about 1,500. So we've had our 1, 2, 3. So we should expect, that'll bring us kind of into line. A 750 pip drop from this range can be expected. 750 point drop, not pips. And really looking at the structure, we would find support right around that trend line there. And so this is operating pretty nicely. It's good to see that we have some profit taking happening up here, and we can tell that the bullish nature here is diminished a little bit. It's yet unknown how much other outside economic events affect cryptocurrencies, because they are so young still. It's a brand new market still. It's still determining its value. But if we look at the dollar index, that is facing a whole lot of pressure here. It's got that inverse head and shoulders happening. All the dollar pairs and currencies are well, if they're dollar quote pairs, they're not doing very well. The dollar index has been on a massive bull run for quite some time, and it is finally exhibiting some weakness here. We are seeing a lot of fundamental things playing. Jean-Claude Juncker he's the president of the EU. He's at the White House right now. They just got out of a press conference. I was watching it, and him and Trump are going to go over a trade issue. I think it's going to be pretty positive, because Juncker said he wants to get rid of all auto tariffs, and Trump just wants to get rid of all tariffs, period. But he did say pretty flatly during the press conference with Juncker there that we'll just have reciprocal tariffs, because that's fair. If you're not going to do a fair, open trading markets, then reciprocal tariffs are fair. So that's his argument. So, but yeah, we're seeing the dollar index finally turning here, which is not surprising. We've been talking about, if you're in the Forex lens with us in the morning from 7:30 in the morning, then this is nothing new. We've been discussing this and observing this fallout happen. And that is expected. Another thing I wanted to point out, and I didn't think it was going to happen yesterday, but with Bitcoin, we have price got halted right on the. Now it's also psychological number 8,500, but a lot of these whole numbers are going to be here. But this is the square of 9 value area of 8,500. That's where we got halted. It's a 300 or 135 degree angle, which Bitcoin, for whatever reason, seems to have a lot of expansion moves off of that angle. If we were to look all the way in the past, so that is that. There's one key zone coming up, and I'm gonna point this out again, is that it is very bullish that we have spent this entire moon phase. If you've never watched that before, if you're please ask questions in chat. I'm not here to toot my horn. I'm here to educate, ask questions, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to talk about anything that's going to go way over your heads, even though I know some of it does. But again, I really want to make sure that you are getting good information, because this won't be free forever. We're going to transition this into a paid service at some point, but I think it's important that those of you watching, will find some value here. And if you do end up being a paying member like we have with our Forex Lens customers, it's very important that you get your money's worth. You pay for a service, I'm providing it, and you should ask questions or ask me to clarify something or something like that. I'm not just here to lecture, I'm here to provide something of value to you. Okay, anyways, on the moon phases, we're traditionally supposed to see selling pressure happen during a new moon in Bitcoin, especially if we're in a bear market. We see that here's a new moon. The new moon is right also when the CME futures contracts came out back in December. That was at the market high. We saw sell off in Bitcoin at that new moon. Selling pressure, not a whole bunch. Actually, we ended up trading higher a little bit, but then otherwise we can see that new moons are very strong indicators of lower prices for Bitcoin, especially if we're in a downtrend. And one of the telltale signs that the trend is changing, one of the tools that you can use is when you see an inverse price action. When you see inverse price action happening during a particular moon phase. So for this new moon, we have certainly not had lower prices. We've had continuing rising prices for the entire last. When was this phase? This was on the 13th. Ever since the 13th, we've had these rising prices. And so even if we were to trade back down to 7,500, that would still be a significant rise in value. And in any instrument, when you see this happen, where you're already forming like a consolidative pattern after a big move up or down, and you have an inverse price action to the moon phase, the next thing you really want to look for confirmation is that this full moon, if we get buying pressure throughout if we close a good amount higher than the open of the 27th of July all the way over to August 11th, then we'll pretty much have our confirmation that we have the new bull phase going on, which is totally normal. All right. What we don't want to observe is we have a full moon and we have selling pressure through the full moon, because that will more than likely mean we see increased selling pressure over the next month. But generally, we will see this full moon on the 27th equate to another 16 days or so of higher prices. That's pretty normal. And for some people who are students of financial astrology, the type of eclipse, like this is a total lunar eclipse, these are often more important than, or more powerful signal generators than others. Apogee, perigee, where are you at? That is the case as well. If you get an apogee, perigee on top of one another, that is, I should have had those on there. I thought I did, but whenever you see that lined up with the moon phase within like a day, you see dramatic. You often see highs or lows in a market formed there. So we had apogee at that all-time high. If we look back at other market highs, we probably see it here, 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 and you swing lows right there. It's a little generous to say that, but any market you see an apogee, the lunar apogee, perigee, along with a new phase of the moon, you often see some moving in the market. So the behavior here on the going into Friday is for bullish momentum. So it would actually be pretty healthy for Bitcoin to have some selling pressure going into the weekend and into Friday at least. So seeing some sell pressure tomorrow through Friday is a ideal thing to see. Let's zippity-doo-dah on over here to Bitcoin again. Although, man, are we catching a bit of a bid there? Could be. Yeah, on the hourly we have moved down, and there's quite a bit of volume that got caught there, but yeah, we may rise again. It's possible. Taking a look at Litecoin. We had a great entry opportunity over here, but that really kind of was, Litecoin kind of suffered along with the rest of the I cannot wait for a lot of these exchanges to begin trading dollar pairs, and there needs to be, one of the reasons why this market is still very immature and not well established is because we still have a very singular dominant currency that is really creating and dictating the moves of everything else. So, even in currency markets, like the dollar is by far the most important reserve currency on the planet. But even with the dollar, we see that there's still a lot of activity in things like the euro pound or the euro, any of the non-dollar yen pairs, the pound Aussie dollar. In cryptocurrencies, we don't have that unless you're trading cross-currency pairs like the euro Bitcoin pairs. Not a lot of people do that, but if you are trading in cryptos, we have such a high correlative market wide because Bitcoin is the coin which all others are rated against. And so eventually, maybe a few years down the road, we'll get a lot more exchanges with that trade heavy volume doing it with dollars only. So we don't have to do, Steam BTC or Nano BTC. We can do Steam US dollar, Lisk US dollar, Walton Coin US dollar. We just need more of that happening, and eventually transition into a, it would be better for us to have, 4 to 6 global stable coins. Not saying that they have to be ran by a government or anything, preferably not, but just some type of coin that is of stable value that is recognized as a medium of change, trade and exchange for all the markets. But that is a ways down the road yet. For now, this market's just fine. Litecoin, though, from a long-term hold, I really like Litecoin. Some people like to crap on it. Litecoin has a lot of stuff going for it. It's a fantastic chain, and Litecoin, for whatever reason, they seem to be doing a lot more to make it more mainstream and relevant and cryptos in general. The only other one that I can think of off the top of my head is Cardano, and they're opening up, or maybe that has happened already, I don't know, but Cardano will have ADA or Cardano ATMs in Japan. Cardano's pretty heavy hitter in Japanese markets. So keep that in mind. In fact, Cardano, I think, has the greatest value to be gained out of all the coins that were mentioned that Coinbase might list out of the 5. Cardano is one of them, and some people really disagree with that some people think that and I have to agree with it too. I mean, when I think of Cardano, I think of a bunch of dudes in suits walking around drinking coffee and just saying, no, you're the smartest one in the room. No, I really think you're the smartest one in the room. There is more paper diploma people roaming around that Cardano team than anything else. It is, but they're very serious, and they're very slow, though. They're very deliberate. They don't release anything until it's ready to go. And I think that is the good thing about Cardano and why you should be holding on to it. I'm not giving out investment advice. In fact, I should have said that derivatives trading involves substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. And if you have any investment or trading things to do with your portfolio, talk with your financial advisor, blah, blah, blah. There you go. But Cardano, regardless of where it's at presently with its development, the fact that it hasn't done anything massive yet is awesome, because once this market starts to accelerate and we get all that new money in the fall, and Cardano does dump out something really important, it will rise like crazy. I mean, we'll see those 60, 80% rises like we saw last year. It's probably good that they have held back from a trading perspective. I mean, think of EOS for a moment. Now, EOS in June came out with their mainnet, and it was a little bit of a slow get-go, a little bit of controversy, but if EOS would have come out with their mainnet, and if EOS would have done that launch, if they would have done it like late October, November, December, I mean, EOS probably would have gone up to like $40. But because it happened during the summertime, in a bear market, in a consolidative market, in a low volume market, it didn't do much of anything. I think it went up to like $13 or something. So from a trading perspective, Cardano, out of all those coins, the only thing that would knock it down big time is if Coinbase were to say, no, we're not listing Cardano. But I don't know if you've ever transferred Cardano from like the Daedalus wallet to an exchange, or from one exchange to another, like from Binance to Bittrex. It's fast. It is stupidly fast. It's faster than Litecoin. It's faster than I think it's just as fast as Steam. Steam's pretty damn fast too. Anyways, okay. As far as trading opportunities in some pairs, one of the things that I really like to do in trading, and I think we need to do this here, is look at altcoin performance right now compared to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's down about 3%, but look at all these altcoins. Okay, whatever. VTC's up 56%. It's a little ridiculous. So VTC's up 56%. And as I'm scrolling down this list of altcoins, I got a list of like most of them. I noticed that most of this list, look at all these delisted ones, most of the altcoins are in the green. And they're in the green by over 3%. Okay? What that tells me is that Bitcoin's selling is not due to people abandoning their positions and going into cash. It is people pumping into the altcoin market. This is the exact kind of can we look origin trail? Can you specify that a little bit more, Mohammed? the money or the Bitcoin traveling into these altcoins is where we see that drop in Bitcoin. And this is actually exactly what we want to see. We talked about this on Monday when we were looking at Bitcoin's rise and all the altcoins were down, 8 to 12 to 15% on the average. And that was exactly what we want to see. We want to see a broad-based weakness in altcoins, or we want to see broad strength in altcoins, because that'll tell us that the market is healthy and that the capital is rotating and that there's trading and volatility happening. Yep, I can do that, Mohammed. And so for Bitcoin, what we have going on is perfectly normal and healthy. And really, I mean, think of Bitcoin like the SPY or the ETF of cryptos. That's how I look at it. But as long as the altcoins are finding a significant pump, they're catching a bid, and Bitcoin is not falling off the face of its gains right now. It's only down 3.4%. Then we have a healthy rotation that we're looking at in the market. And the pullback that's happening here is one that we should look forward to and anticipate. So if you missed the rotation to the altcoin market, then it's not a bad thing just to hold. All right. Yeah, let's take a look at track. You know what? I don't think there is a chart for that. If it doesn't have a chart, nope. I don't see it anywhere. Nope. Sorry. There's not a chart. Can't look at it. Okay. Yeah, if there's any other coins you guys want me to take a peek at, let me know. All right, so Bitcoin, it's doing its thing. On the rotation back, when I see Bitcoin catching a bid again, I'm not taking my money out of the altcoins. Where I have exposure in altcoins right now, I have it in Nano and Steam. Oh yeah, this is what I was getting at. So, free strategy tip. All right, when you see Bitcoin is rising, when you see Bitcoin's catching a bid, and all the altcoins are down, what you want to do is take a look at TradingView. Actually has a screener. I don't know if any of you have used it before, but they actually keep making it better and better. But you can analyze or check the performance of cryptos over a week or month, quarter. And what I like to do is I like to see the performance. Actually, I just want to put in BTC. I don't want to see the USD. I want to see who the underperformers are in the market. Okay? As long as they're not like stupidly underperforming. So right now Bitcoin's catching some sells and altcoins are catching a bid. And so what I want to see is not only which ones are lagging, but which cryptos which altcoins are showing similar price structure and not operating at and which ones are not doing anything. So let's see. We've got OMG. OMG's chart looks very similar to Nano's chart, which looks very similar to Scicoin's chart, which looks very similar to Steam's chart, which looks very familiar to not Walton Coin. Okay? I should do this on the daily. Walton Coin compared to Steam, compared to OMG, compared to Nano. Walton Coin is a laggard. Is it possible Tether is a scam? Oh hell yeah. Hell yeah. I would not leave any money in Tether. I don't touch it. I don't like it. if I ever, well, I should say I do use Tether to trade a little bit, but I never leave my phone or my computer for Tether because that is not a trustworthy thing. Okay, Tether's nice because it's used as a stable coin, but you do not want to be holding on to that if any government determines that it is not complying with basic accounting standards. I mean, Tether. There's a whole lot. I don't want to get into like the specifics, but Bitfinex and Tether. It's I don't like Tether. I do like True USD. That's available on Binance and on Bittrex and some other places. True USD is actually based in the United States, and they actually do have custodianship for their dollars. So they have a fixed supply, but every dollar or every True USD coin that is out there is backed by a dollar, and you have the right to that dollar. All right, it's that is a safe alternative to Tether. Okay. I've actually tried the process before. It does work. They do give you, you do get your money. So, True USD is anything really based in the Cayman Islands in crypto should raise a red flag. I'm sorry. It's just, it's just yeah. What other altcoins interest me? I love Steam. Steam is a fantastic social platform. It probably is going to supplant Facebook at some point. Steemit.com is the website. You can earn money by posting and liking and following and all that jazz, but I really like Steemit.com. And Steam is not just that site. It's its own kind of ecosystem. But I like Steam. I like Nano. H shares. Not IOTA. Cardano, big time. Litecoin, big time. XLM, Walton Coin. Walton Coin actually has, like actual. I mean, Walton Coin's a company that's been around for a long time. This is I encourage you all to do your own research, but what cryptocurrencies mostly remind me of people who first get into trading stocks and they use stock twits and they trade penny stocks, and you've got all these low value micro cap companies that there's a small cap company that I actually own quite a bit of it, just because I'm really interested in the technology, and I bought it really cheap. But APDN, Applied DNA Sciences, that's been a pump and dump stock for years, and what they do is they tag things, and I think it actually has great applications for cryptocurrencies as well, for digitizing physical assets. And because APDN's mostly focused on supply chain authenticity. So cotton is a heavily counterfeited and fake commodity. So when we want t-shirts made out of U.S. cotton in the United States, we'll send U.S. cotton is I think it's the best quality in the world, maybe. Supima cotton. So we send off raw cotton to China for them to process it into clothing, and then they ship it back. However, what the cotton industry found out is that there was a lot of shady actors in China, surprise, that were keeping the high quality U.S. cotton and using cheap and synthetic alternatives. And so what APDN does is it's plant-based DNA spray that goes on every single individual fiber, and so when it gets sent to China and then comes back and it doesn't degrade through any process, they can tag it and check it to make sure that it's authentic and that it is real. The Department of Defense uses their stuff for like missiles stuff. So, anyways, what I'm saying is that all sounds really fantastic, right? Like, why isn't this thing worth $1 million? Well, because the guy who runs it, the CEO, is just shit. Pardon my French, he's kind of an idiot. But what I'm saying is all that enthusiasm I just gave out about APDN is what a lot of people get when they talk about altcoins. I mean, last fall, you could throw a quarter. If there was like 5 pounds of water and one said OMG, one said Steam, one said WTC, one says ADA, you could throw a quarter in there and you could come out with, I like Dragon Chain. Yep, I like that one. There's a lot of growth potential in it. I like Dragon Chain. But anybody could turn 25 cents into $25, last year. It was very easy to do. It's much more difficult to stick in a market and weather it. And I think that's where I think this service at De-crypto markets, where you're going to find a lot more value, is that I trade for a living. This is what I do, and I like to educate and talk as well. So I'm not going anywhere. There's a lot. If you've ever been in part of another trading service that was dealing with cryptocurrencies, there were quite a few. There were quite a few news sites. There was quite a few blog sites. There was quite a few education services. Those all disappeared pretty much by the end of February because they were fair weather traders. So you should stick around with somebody, and this is where I'll toot my horn, is that I get how markets move and I understand cycles, and I'm not going to disappear just because the market's down. In fact, that is where you should do most of your buying. I mean, you have to think, we live in a fast-paced world, and we see these. I mean, I'm still blown away by them. I mean, a 3.49% drop in anything outside of cryptocurrencies is a freaking nightmare. If it's in equities, if it's an individual equity, if it's in stocks, ETFs, God forbid a currency, a 3.5% drop, oil futures, in anything outside of cryptos is generally a cause for concern. But in cryptos, it's not. And so, if this is the only market that you have ever traded, then a lot of people are used, especially if you started in the fall of last year, you are very used to seeing greater than 5 and 8% moves up and down. Okay? And then what happens is you're conditioned to that kind of market when you start out, and that's actually really sucks for you because you can't handle, well, no new trader can handle this kind of activity. This drop, this 75+% drop in value in Bitcoin from its all-time high is a pretty big drop. So I've been here and weathered through a lot. Bitcoin's lost 90% of its value like 6 times. In fact, there's a funny website, Bitcoin Obituaries. Yeah, this is an awesome site. Bitcoin has died 306 times. These are all news articles going all the way back to 2010, where experts, pundits, and critics of cryptocurrencies have said that Bitcoin is done, it's dead, it's dying. Listen, from 2011 until 2018, on CNBC, on Fox Business, all I heard every time they talked about cryptos was that it's a bubble and it's going to pop. If something's been rising in value for 10 years and you're still calling it a bubble year after year, you're wrong. I'll post that here. Cryptocurrencies are not going away anytime soon. Bitcoin's not going away anytime soon. But what I'm saying is here, I'm not going anywhere because I will always be trading these markets, and I'll always let you know when I'm adding. There's In fact, I'll put in chat right now where I'm going to be adding some Bitcoin if it gets down to that level. Probably. See, I'm going to add long at probably 76.60. If 76.60 does not show up, then I'm looking to re-enter at 8,300, 8,330. Oops. Altcoins that are showing lagging behavior and actually have a pretty good chance to rise and catch a nice bid. Steam BTC, Steam USD. Probably have to do the BTC pair. Long on Steam there, long on Nano. Nano's actually, this is a crazy, stupid area. I think I don't want to miss out on this guy. Actually, I should, if that's a horrible thing to say, I don't want to miss out because that's what everybody says, but it's at a, this, Nano's forming what's called a, it's almost a tweezer bottom, but I mean, we're getting a double bottom. If we close above the high of yesterday, you know, we'll have a pretty nice, not quite an engulfing candlestick, but a really nice candle nonetheless. Plus we're coming off of these extended oversold conditions, and the stochastic RSI, we're starting to trend up in the composite index. The weekly chart, I mean, this looks ugly as hell, but it's at all-time lows. When if there's an altcoin that has been around for a while and it has continued to survive ever since January, and it's near market low or an all-time low, while the market is actually gaining a crap ton of market cap, that's a good idea to put a little money in it. And just let it sit there. Just wait for it. So Nano, Amex, yeah, I mean, I'm long on it already, but I wouldn't go long on it until we got a break of a return to this major harmonic here. So actually probably a break of 33.44. And let's see. You're going to think I'm weird, but I really like Bitcoin Gold. I think Bitcoin Gold is what Bitcoin Cash should have been. Bitcoin Cash is okay. So we went over NEO yesterday. NEO is pretty much ran by the communist Chinese government, and Bitcoin Cash is the capitalist equivalent ran by evil mega corporations. I sound like a conspiracy theorist now, but Bitcoin Gold is the democratic fork, and I like Bitcoin Gold a lot. I don't know if it's got enough future for anything, but Bitcoin Gold is certainly a laggard here, and I think that it has a good opportunity to catch a bid, but I'm not looking to enter into it yet. Lisk is a fantastic entry zone as well. Probably want the Lisk dollar pair though. Lisk has been around for a while. Oh God, that's a beautiful area to look at going long. Damn. I thought it looked good this morning. It's still good. Yeah, I mean, really, all these present value areas are good zones. What else? If I want to look at my crypto list, take a peek at the screener as well, and look at the monthly laggards. We have CND. CND, that's not even really something anybody should put money in. QLink. See who's been sucking this month, who's still sucking this week, and who's doing well today is okay. Ontology is probably a good one to take a peek at. ONT. Look at the tether pair, unfortunately. Yeah. That's actually, well, no, never mind. Actually, nope. Nope. Not enough history. BFT, Ether Party, Populous is, I think I still have some Populous. I think this is Vibe. Let's see what else is down here. Ethland, no. Icon. Yes, that is a good one. ICX BTC though. Yep, very nice one. Pretty much anything that has a Bitcoin pair that has not formed a bull pattern yet is you're gonna find it to be probably a pretty nice trade. I don't like any exchange coins. Nope, I don't think that they are. I mean, Binance coin is kind of like a stable coin. Binance coin, I think it has an interesting utility just for Binance, but I don't really care for those as much. Really, as a trader, I'm not really looking for a whole lot of fundamental value, but I do watch out for significant apocalyptic risk, and Tether's one of those. I mean, I'm not going to babysit a news site all day long to wait for the bad news of Tether being shut down, and then everybody holding it has lost all their money. So I just choose to, if I do use it, I'm using it for a trade that I'm monitoring and active on, that I don't have it. I'm not swing trading it and logging off for the night, and you know, no thanks. Wouldn't hold anything into it. Really, the only things that I would ever be holding in cryptos for any length of time, as far as not worried about it losing value, as the True USD, if you can get it. Binance has it now too. They have True USD. That, Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ethereum. Those four, safe to hang on to. KMD, damn you, I missed that one this morning. There was another one I was looking at. Where are you at? Where are you? I think it was Mona. Yeah, Mona was the other one. Mona is a so this is actually fantastic to observe, because if I'm looking at the daily, we've got clear traded structure on a lot of these Bitcoin pairs that have entered into their, you know, pretty standard overbought, or rather oversold conditions in the on the stochastic RSI and the composite index. And the composite index, if you're unfamiliar with it, Constance Brown created this indicator. She's one of the probably the best one. No, I don't know if she is the best, but she's one of my favorite contemporary technical analysts. She's just she's crazy smart, and she created this, and this is basically the RSI. Well, think of it this way: the RSI is Windows 3.1, and think of the composite index as Windows 10. The composite index adjusts for volatility as well, so it catches divergences and moves and filters moves that the RSI can't. Wells Wilder's RSI is awesome as it is, but this is just an improved version of it. But this is a slow oscillator. This is a fast oscillator when they're both in this oversold condition, and then coming off of those with an upward slope. That's a pretty good sign that you can catch a bid on it, at least for a quick swing if you need to, or a scalp on the daily. But a lot of these a lot of any of these altcoins that don't have that bull formation are lagging its peers and are a good entry to take a peek at. So, you know, the ones that I put in chat are the ones you want to take a peek at. And also, where are you at? One thing you do want to watch out for is if Bitcoin's got a tweezer top happening right up against this 1x5 angle. So, yeah, return to 7,500 is I think you can expect that. Although if we're going to follow similar structure, we may be limited to that 7,800 value area. We'll see. Actually, what is that fib ratio? Do it on a cleaner chart. Well, that's hardly cleaner. Here we go. We're probably... Do I think the stock market will crash in the near future? I think there'll be a deep retracement by the end of the year, and then it will continue to make all-time highs until we get into the third and fourth quarter of 2020. That's when Gann talked about the next panic cycle starting. If you're unfamiliar with the work of W.D. Gann, William W. Gann, that's the kind of trader I am. Call ourselves Gannists. I trade off of market geometry and time cycles, prices. Gann traders don't view price as relevant to trends. Prices are just a direction, and that the actual cause of price changes on the long term in trends is because of time cycles, not because of human participation. In fact, Gannists, we don't believe humans have the ability to change the trends because we view the market as a natural phenomena that has a set pattern that we can't deviate from, that has already been predetermined, and it's part of a structure and an order that it's not random. There's been tons of research on this. In fact, if you ever do work on the Chartered Market Technicians course, a lot of the new literature is really the studies that the random walk theory and the Dow theory that the market's always at a discount. That stuff is pretty much being discounted. That there is no randomness in the market. It is actually very orderly and structured. I mean, every single trend. I mean, Gann knew this before a lot of people did. Elliott knew this before a lot of people did. H.M. Gartley knew this before a lot of people did. I mean, those guys knew it, but didn't know the right way to explain it, because every trend in the market is just a fractal of another trend. Every pattern in the market is just a fractal of another time. The inverse head and shoulders pattern is constant, no matter if you're trading a tick by tick chart or if you're trading a yearly chart or a monthly chart. It's just fractals. If you stop looking at the market and as a random thing and wondering what may happen, okay, got rejected at the 618. That was pretty telltale sign. Then you don't, you get rid of a lot of the stress. And I guess, I'm getting short on my time here, but I think like an example of what I'm talking about is, let me pull up some of my trade ideas. One of the best trades I've had all year was right here. Oh, this gold trade too. So this is the Forex market. This looks really squelched because this is on my 13-inch laptop. I did this on vacation. But this is the British pound. This is the daily chart of the British pound. And I took a short based on Gann's day counts. Here's the fib level business, but basically 64th straight up, 64th week in the uptrend. and was in a 45-day cycle, which ends. Gann talked about the 45-day cycle being the death zone because it ends blow-off moves. 7-day cycle, any series of 7 or multiple of 7 or division of 7. Pay attention to those if you're a Gann trader. And we also had just a whole bunch of other Gann cycles, but I took that short there, which turned out to be really the right trade to make, because I got into it a little early, which is fine, but then we saw the pound collapse pretty handedly. And so that was a trade. And then the gold, this was published back on April 26th. Took this short on gold, this short idea, and this was based on a number of things too. This is based on market geometry, and Gann's time cycles as well. And if you've been paying attention to gold at all, it has just collapsed. So time cycles and market geometry are the key to identifying how the market moves and the structure of it. It was, at least for me, this was what filled in the gaps of the things I didn't understand in trading. Bull trap initial dollar index. I think this was, I wrote about. Oh yeah, so this was back on the 10th, but the other component of Gann's work that he couldn't really talk about this much when he was alive because they would have locked him up, but he used astronomical phenomena in his trading as well. I know some of you here have seen this already, so I'll just go over it real quick, but the wavy lines on the screen, these are the positions. This is a position of Saturn. This is a longitudinal position of Saturn, and it's wavy because, well, that's how Saturn, everything moves. It doesn't travel in a perfect circle. And actually, the red lines are the harmonics, or the divisions between its cycle. So the green is actually where Saturn is at. It's down here, so this is the division of it. But you can see that Bitcoin, for the most part, really respects the inner harmonics of Saturn as strength and resistance zone, and prices even kind of follow the contour of Saturn. This is true in every single market. For instance, the Aussie dollar is also Saturn, and it's a straight line because this is the heliocentric view, not a geocentric. Geocentric means the longitudinal position is measured from Earth. Heliocentric means the longitudinal position is measured from the sun. And so we can see that in the Aussie dollar, the high and the lows are formed at the positions of Saturn. So it's a very, Gann used this stuff in his trading, and he used the cycles of some planets and eclipses and stuff as well. So, and these vertical lines are called aspects. So this is a sun opposite Pluto. That just means that where you at? That just means that the sun and Pluto are 180 degrees from one another. Okay? Well, the sun, Earth, and we're 180 degrees. And when that happens, when that aspect happens, okay, and again, for those of you who have not heard this before, financial astrology has nothing to do with Madame Cleo, tarot cards, chicken bones, or magic 8 balls. It has nothing to do with that stuff. It has nothing to do with how you can get that coworker of yours who's a Libra to fall in love with you because you're Sagittarius. Financial astrology needs to be renamed to financial astronomy, because it is based on the mathematical psychology based on astronomy. That is what the official definition is. Anyways, where'd I go? So we were looking at the Aussie dollar. These blue lines, this is how to learn Gann theory and anyone who teaches it. There are very few people who teach Gann theory, and it takes years to learn. I know that Constance Brown and a guy named Michael Jenkins. They have. I know I've heard one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but it's like a master's level course. If it was to be a course, there is no real Gann course written except by Gann himself. There, if you really want to get an idea of what to do with Gann, you should you can find his books online for free. Oh gosh, what is it? Is it Master Commodities course? Yeah, Gann Master Commodity. I'll type that in here. And then also Michael Jenkins wrote. I've been getting that reputation, yeah. I tell you what, when Gann is at least for me, that is the thing that solved trading for me, at least from a technical perspective. It did not solve it from the emotional and the psychological perspective, but Gann is just the way that markets move in the geometry, and it's I just really believe that it is the correct way to trade a market. That is the one that makes the most sense. The book by Jenkins, actually have the PDF. I don't need to find it though. It is. I don't want to. I know it's out of print, but there's a PDF for it out there. I think is it by Krause? No, this is not it. I'm almost done here, guys. Forgive me. Crap. Where is it at? Damn it. Yeah, Sanjay, it's no problem. I'd like to go over some how to apply some of Gann's stuff because I tell you what, I've spent years studying Gann, and I didn't have anybody to teach me. I mean, I had to, and I'll tell you, I think that's kind of the thing with learning Gann is that it is. I think the intention behind his work was not to have it be something that everybody could easily pick up. And I think a lot of the contemporary practitioners of Gann's work, all of them have had to learn his stuff on their own and apply it and learn how to apply it on their own. And I think what I'm kind of getting is that is the purpose and correct way to learn it, is that it's supposed to be kind of a personal journey and a personal it's the closest thing to like something like Indiana Jones as you're going to get. It's a fascinating field of study. It's just crazy. Gosh, where is this book? I'm sorry. If I can't find it today, I will find it by tomorrow, and I will share the name of it. But give me 2 more minutes. Dang, where are you at? Oh, yeah, okay, there it is. It's I'll type in the title. This is a complete stock market trading and forecasting course. And that is by Michael S. Jenkins. This guy is a phenomenal contemporary analyst as well. I would read the complete stock market trading forecasting course, and you have to take notes. Unfortunately, I have notebooks and notebooks of notes of Gann's stuff, and you will too. But it is a phenomenal way. It takes a long time to learn. but it is very effective. His approach to certain counts of days during trends and particular dates of the year, the geometry, all of it is just fascinating, and I never cease to be amazed by it. Even it's fantastic work. Anyways, I got kind of babbly there. I did put in some trade ideas. Anyway, so hope you all had a good trade day yesterday. Hope your week has gone well so far. And if look on your 10 cryptos to hold long term, would love to know here's a Gann trader. So, I mean, yeah, if remind me to talk about that tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll just keep babbling here. And I've got a honey-do list for my wife, so I better go do those things. Anyways. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow if you're going to be here. Same time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And and if you have Sirius XM, go to I forget the name of the channel number. One of the Forex Lens guys know the channel number. I'm going to be on the radio with Air Canada tomorrow, talking about the current economic stuff, and yeah, no problem, Mohammed. That's what I'm here to do. I like questions. I like to be able to clear things up if I can. I'm a perpetual student of the market, so I don't ever stop learning stuff myself. So I always have questions, and I ask other folks. Sirius XM Canada Talks, there it is. Anyways, have a good trade day. If I don't see you guys, if you're not going to be here tomorrow or Friday, have a good trade week. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Here, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye-bye.